everybody, Randy Patterson here with Boomerocity, and we're bringing back another Boomerocity friend to chat with us, and this time it is the lovely and talented Cindy Blackman Santana. You'll recognize her from our 3 previous interviews, and she's back again to talk about her new album, Coherence. And we interviewed this early because she and her husband, Carlos Santana, were about ready to hit the road, actually the airways, and go to Europe to tour. And so this album or this interview had to take place before she took off, so she could focus on that tour with her husband. But this new solo album is amazing. Of course, we always expect that from Cindy. And as you recall, the last time or not the last time, but one of the last times we talked to her was about her new album, Give the Drummer Some. And this album is right in that same vein, man, of high top shelf excellence in songwriting quality, musicianship, and recording. And while we were talking, she also gave us some other inside news. Not going to tell it to you here. Got to listen to the interview. Hey, while you're at it, as I always ask, would you please hit like on whatever platform you're watching or listening to this on, as well as become a subscriber. It's absolutely free of charge. I'm not going to charge you for subscribing. We just need that. So it helps us with our numbers and possibly even income that doesn't come out of your pocket. So without any further ado, here is my 4th interview with Cindy Blackman Santana. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerocity. Take care. There
Can
she
you hear
is.
me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for doing this.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you for participating. So, where are you clicking in from? It looks like a theater somewhere.
This is I am in Las Vegas, and this is our cinema room actually.
Ah, cool. Very
We have a
nice.
little movie screen, and I've got some drums in here, and yeah, this is our little chill out space.
How fun. How fun. So, gosh, I haven't been to Vegas in quite a few years, probably about 12 or 13 years. Last time I was there, it was for my day job that I had at the time, and I wound up going seeing Guns N' Roses over at the Hard Rock. So it,
Oh, cool.
yeah, it was the highlight of the trip, believe me. So,
Oh, I bet.
so
Yeah.
before we get into all this, I must ask, just out of concern, I read about your hubby being a little sick there. Everything okay with him now?
He's good now. Yeah, we he had COVID. He got COVID.
Wow.
And so that
God.
really did a number on him. But he's good now. He's all recovered. We had to cancel, I think, just 2 gigs, and we had 2 days off, so he had 4 days to rest. And they gave him some antibiotics and all this other stuff, and now he's good. Yeah.
Well, good deal. Good deal.
Thank you for asking.
Well, I've been a fan, believe it or not, since I was in 5th grade. And why that is when Black Magic Woman was a big hit. This is going to sound gruesome, but it really is a good story. My little dog was hit by a car and died, and I would lay in bed and cry, and that song would always come on the radio. So every time I hear it, I remember my little dog. And so that's a good thing for me. But it's funny how we can peg songs to events in our life. And ever since then, I've been following them. My mom would buy me albums for Christmas and my birthday and all that kind of thing. So I've been a fan of his since I was too young to know better about anything else except music, so.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
So,
I'm glad that you had that song to comfort you, because that can be traumatic,
oh yeah,
even
yeah.
for adults when they lose a pet, especially in a tragic way. That can be really traumatic. I have to really, again, just compliment you on the artwork that you did. That Coherence, the font with the whatever those colors were that makes it look swirly and makes it look like it's in the
Mhm.
cosmos and the nebula. That is so awesome. If I had seen that,
Well,
I'd use that for my cover.
well, that is you
Great.
sent it to me. You sent it to me, so I just pasted it into my my tool that I use to make the virtual background. So that's all it is. So
That's
on that
great.
one,
I like it. It looks really cool. Yeah,
well,
I
I'm
thought it
glad
was
you're
great.
happy with it. So,
Yeah.
um, how did before we talk about the new album, got to ask you, how did the how has Give the Drummer Some done for you? Because it's one of my favorite albums. I like driving to it, and I've turned a lot of people on to it. So I'm just curious how the album did for you.
Oh, thank you, Randy. It did well, you know. It was, I think, a shock to a lot of people because I was singing on it. That's so that debut was a little bit of a shocker to people, but yeah, it did well. I think it opened up some very new pathways in terms of audience and listeners because of the scene, because it was more of a commercial record than what I had done previously.
Yeah.
So yeah, it opened up a lot of doors actually.
Well, that your cover and treatment of Imagine, wow. I mean, I've heard a lot of people tackle that song, but how you handled it and the all everything about how you handled it was amazing. I'm sure you get a lot of comments and compliments about that particular song.
Yeah, people like, I mean, that's one of my favorite songs just because of the simplicity of the way John Lennon, expressed that. And certainly even more so, the message is so awesome. And it's also incredible that that message is still very relevant and very needed right now.
Yeah.
Um, being, that it was recorded and written when it was in that
Hmm.
period. But yeah, that song, a lot of people gravitate to that, because we were able to just kind of bring it into the day, and add obviously the elements that we added with the guitar and the kind of rock groove and all of
Hmm.
that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm really proud of that one because I love that song so much. I love John Lennon, and I'm really happy with what we did, and of course working with Narada Michael Walden on that was excellent because he's such a great producer.
Yeah, he
So
is.
all the ideas that I expressed that I wanted to do, he was able to bring them to the forefront and make them tangible, you know.
Yeah. It's an amazing album. Are there any fan stories as a result of that album? Fans coming up telling you something about what a particular song from that album meant to you or to them?
A lot of people talk about Imagine because they say that people that knew that song previously, they say, wow, this really brings some memories back for me. And it takes me back to a period, but keeps me in this period because you did such a modern version of it. And then, believe it or not, some younger people who didn't know the song, they were like, wow, we listened to your song and we loved it. And then we went back and listened to the John Lennon, and now we're introduced to that. And oh my gosh, so that was a really good one. Fun Party Splash got a lot of attention
Yeah,
because it just was a feel good song. So a
yeah.
lot of people um, commented on that, because at that time, we really needed some upliftment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 2020 was hard
Yeah,
for so many people because we were locked down. There was the fear of the COVID, which now we know is kind of not laughable, but we know that it's not what they projected it to be. Let me just
yeah,
leave it at that.
yeah.
um, but yeah, so that song brought a lot of happiness to a lot of people at that time. So I'm really happy about that as well. Those were two that really got a lot of attention. Um, and there were other songs too, like even the song with John McLaughlin, "Super Bad."
Yeah.
That got a lot of attention just because it's so funky.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got good response off of that record. I'm really, really happy with that.
Well, I caught you and your husband's show in Chattanooga not long after we did our last interview. I think, no, it's the interview before. And it was
Uh-huh.
right as the shutdown was being lifted. And that was probably I think that was the third show I saw after everybody was set loose to go to shows again. And you could just feel the vibe. I mean, you guys on stage were phenomenal, and you could just sense the energy between you all because you were having fun again, doing what you love to do, and the crowd loved it. And I can truthfully say it was one of the best shows I went to because, again, being a fan for as long as I've been, but just what I enjoyed equally to the songs I heard were just watching you guys on stage, just seeing how you were smiling at each other. You could sense a real like, yeah, it's great to be back here for reals because it's this tragedy is passing us by. And so it was a lot of fun to watch you guys play like that.
Oh, thank you. It was great fun to be back out there and doing it because after not having been able to to play live for so long, it was really, really exhilarating for us from an artistic standpoint, an energetic standpoint, but also the deliverance of, something that could make people feel good after
Yeah.
such a hard period that we all went through. So that was very emotional on a lot of levels. So it
Yeah.
was yeah, a great experience for us as well.
Well, you got this great new album coming out. Tell me all about it because it's the one cut I've heard. I thought, wow, we're in for a big treat again. So tell me about it.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really, really happy with this one for a lot of reasons. Um, Coherence to me represents the coming together of everything as one. All people are one. Um, and when you really look at the fabric of what has created us in this universe, everything in creation is one. you know
Hmm.
um the plants, the rocks, the mountains, the animal kingdom, all the kingdoms really are one kingdom, and so coherence represents that kind of unity to me. So it's special from that perspective. The songs are, I really enjoy all the music. Um, there are some originals, a lot of originals, uh, many that I've penned, and a couple from my guitar player. There's a John McLaughlin original. There are three standards on there, or not standards, but non-originals. Um, two, uh, a Wayne Shorter composition, Sanctuary.
Oh.
Um, a Paolo Rusticelli composition called Capri.
Hmm.
Um, and we really did some treatments on these songs that are a bit different from what you've heard in the past, like Sanctuary, for example, um, is a real high energy kind of shuffle.
Hmm.
And then we did another Wayne Shorter tune called Circe, and we did that one differently than what I've heard it recorded. Like I've heard it by VSOP, um, and they did it a particular way. And I also heard a version by Tony Williams Lifetime, and they did it a particular way. So we did it in another way. It's very sultry, very pretty. I added some strings on it. So we have a string player by the name of Dave Egger, who I met
Hmm.
on a project that I was co-producing, a Brazilian singer by the name of Areia.
Hmm.
And my co-producer Jack Daly brought in this string player to play all these string parts. And Dave is amazing because he plays cello, and he plays all the string parts by himself, and he just layers everything, you know.
Ah.
Um, he's really, really amazing. And so I had always wanted do something with him after doing that initial project with him, which was That was back in 2019 or 18, something like that. But I always wanted to do something with him. And so I reached out and he was like, yeah, I'd love to do it. So there are several tracks that have strings on it and it's all him. He just layered everything, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm really happy with that. I'm going to do more stuff with him. There's a really cool track that we did called Psychedelic Movie House, which is it features strings and drums. And it's really awesome. It's a short piece, but very poignant and really, really cool. I think you'll enjoy that. I'm gonna we just got our final mixes, so I'll send everything to you so you can
Oh,
get a feel for it. You can hear it. Yeah, I'll send it to
I
you.
would appreciate that.
Um, Absolutely, I will send that to you. So there's that track. The band, my band, which is Emilio Modeste on saxophone, Felix Pastorius on the bass, Zakai
Ah,
Curtis is keyboard player, um, and Aurelian Budnek is a guitar player. So there are several tracks that we just came up with together as a band. And those are really cool too. Some of them are just kind of faded in as like interlude sections. Some of them are longer pieces. There's one of the pieces that I came in with an initial idea, but it wasn't finished. And so as a band, we finished it, and that one's called Pulp Fiction. Very cool track. It sounds like movie music. It's it's very interesting.
maybe somebody will
Um,
pick it up.
I hope so because it's really, really cool. I think it's really cool. And that has strings on it also. And then Carlos is featured on several tracks. He's featured on the Sanctuary track. And actually doing Sanctuary, as I was mentioning previously, as like an up-tempo shuffle was his idea because he did a tour with Wayne Shorter at one point and they played it similar to that. So he was saying, hey, why don't we do something kind of like that? And I had never heard it done like that before. And neither had the band. So we were just really all over it. We loved that. So there's that. He's on. There's another one called The Message Is Love. Very, very funky. Um, and so he's on that one as well. And he's also on the Paolo Rusticelli track called Capri.
Mhm.
And that one kind of has a special meaning for Carlos and I because when I first met Carlos and was subbing for his drummer, he had a tour booked, and then after the tour, they got I think some kind of corporate gig or something, and Dennis Chambers was already booked to do something else. So I got the call to sub for Dennis on that show, and after I did it, Carlos presented me with this iPod that he put together. He makes these iPods that he calls the Miles Davis iPods, so the Miles iPods, and it's tons and worlds and hours of Miles, which is the greatest thing ever because it's all in one place, like stuff you've never heard, bootleg stuff,
Wow.
album stuff, all kind of interviews, everything. It's all on this one iPod. And so when he gave me that, I was blown away, and I was in my room, my hotel room, thumbing through all the tracks, and I'm like, okay, let me listen to something that I've never heard. And the first thing that I came across that I hadn't heard was a song called Capri. So I put that on, and I was just floating because it's so beautiful. Miles is playing on it, and it's just beautiful. And so Carlos did a gig with my band at the Blue Note in Napa, and we
Mhm.
played Capri. So I said, hey, why don't when you record with my band, why don't we do Capri? It was beautiful. And of course, he was all into that because he loves Capri and he loved playing it. So that's on the record too. That's really pretty. Um, One of my all-time favorite songs. And I got asked once in an interview. This is kind of silly, but I think you'll appreciate it. Somebody said in the interview, "What's your favorite song to kiss to?"
Hold it. Let me make some notes here. I gotta. You might be helping me out here sometime.
I think I'll be helping you out here, my friend. I think you're gonna get some help on this one. And it's Blue and Green. That's one of my
Really?
favorite. Yeah, I love that song. That's like if you ever wish that you wrote a song, that's one that I wish I had written. And the way Miles plays that song is so beautiful. Bill Evans on that song is just, I mean, he always plays that way, and Miles too, but it's just beautiful. It's one of my favorite songs. So we did a rendition of that as well, of uh
Wow.
of Blue and Green. So that's on there too. So there's a kind of a diverse variety of rhythmic treatments and feels on this record. No singing. I
Oh,
did
so
do a
it's
little
all
bit of talking
instrumental.
on it, all
Oh, okay. I
instrumental.
got you.
I did do a little bit of talking because I wrote kind of a thematic poem for the intro and outro of Coherence, because I really wanted to express what that means, and I feel that it's really important at this time for people to understand that we're not divided as a lot of society would like to lead us to believe. Because when you separate and divide people, that's the way to keep them under control because they're not together. You can't do anything on a mass scale if you're divided and separated.
That's
So
right.
that old divide and conquer thing is real.
Yeah,
So I
very
really
much
wanted
so.
to express, yeah, I really wanted to express that. So I did a little poem on the intro and the outro of that song, but that's the only kind of speaking that I really did on there.
Interesting. Well, to your point on that, I pretty much quit watching news. I am aware of what's going on. I think that's important, but as you might imagine, I'm sure you do too. You get people want to draw you into political arguments and such. I'm like, look, not going there. At my age, I just want to love people, try to get through the rest of life by being a positive person to people as best I can. And I'm always learning to get better at it. But I refuse to let the powers that be, regardless of which party label they have, to cause too much division. And that I've seen it happen. And I mean, there are a lot of people out there, and I'm sure you've run into this too, Cindy, where if you're not for them, you're against them. And I can't help that. And I'm not going to try to control
Yeah.
it. But I just try to be nice to people. And if they want to go into war, that's their gig, not mine. Because life's too short to fight for people who don't even know I exist. That's it.
I love that. That's awesome. And you do exude that, which just even though we've never said these words exactly, but you do exude that with the feeling of just wanting to be friendly and loving to people,
Hmm.
which is one of the reasons why I enjoy talking to you. So I
Well,
appreciate that
thank you.
because I'm the same way. I don't like to watch the news.
Yeah, yeah.
I certain people get on me all the time. They're like, "You're not going to watch the news?" No, I'm really not. And I try to be aware, like you, but I don't want to get that into my psyche and have that rule my day. And you know, um, I saw this really beautiful documentary on Wayne Shorter.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I loved about what I saw was, and what I felt was that they said in the piece that Wayne would sit there with his score, watch the TV or the news or whatever was coming on, and anytime he saw something negative come in, he would write a chord or a passage to counteract that.
Hmm.
Amazing,
That's
right?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. I mean,
yeah,
because it all plays in. So if you have some dark chord going in along with, I mean, it just reinforces it. So wow, I've never thought of it. I'd love to. I want to experiment with that. I mean, I'm not a musician, but I can fake around with some chords and such. I want to play with that. That's a great idea. That, but Cindy, I mean, people think they're going to change the world by dogpiling onto the same rhetoric that other people are parroting. I just want to step back. I just want to say, hey, let's go have some coffee. You know, let's go. Let's talk about music. And that's why I don't jump into any of that. And if I can just present music, it's such a unifier. It really is. And if I can just get people to talk about that, I feel like I've helped out in some way. And yeah, we all have dark days, but why amplify it? Let's put that positive chord on top of the negative news.
Exactly. And the chord doesn't have to be a musical chord. It can be a thought or it can be a projection. You know, it can be an idea that you come up with to help somebody. It can be a lot of things, you know. So it can be done uh if there's a person who, let's say they say, well, I can't do that because I don't even know what a chord is. That's okay. You know what energy is, and you know what
That's right.
happiness is, you know what a smile is, and you know what love is, you know what love isn't. So you can just project any of those things when the negativity, you know, is spread, or when you see it.
Hmm.
There's a lot that
That's
we
right.
can do.
That's right. I've been known to giggle under my breath at funerals, even. So there you go. So, and I do say, under my breath because I don't want to offend anybody, but a funny thought about the person will come to mind is like, and that's what I want. I want a moment of silence at my funeral and say, think of something funny or inappropriate I said or did, and just let that one come out in a laugh. So,
And just laugh. Yeah,
yeah, why
have a good
not?
vibe. Yeah,
So, how
yeah.
how long did it take you to make the album from start to finish?
Um, we did two sessions, one in April and one in October.
Ah,
And
okay.
then the rest was basically uh, uh, selecting the songs, because we recorded over 20 songs. We
Wow.
recorded a lot of music. I don't know. I always record a lot of music. I can't not, I have to record a lot of music. So then, apart from selecting the songs, then it was going to starting the mixing, and going through that process. So the mixing process was probably longer than it took to record the music.
I hear that's often the case. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
were there any surprises in making this record?
um no overt surprises. However, um the music that we came up with on the fly, like just the stuff that we created in the studio, um was a beautiful surprise. Not surprising that we could do it, or not surprising that we did it, because that's what I wanted to do. I planned on that. So I wanted that kind of feeling of freedom and spontaneity, um, apart from what you get from playing a song. And you can be free and spontaneous in songs that but I also wanted to just come up with stuff that is the journey that we don't know where, we have really no idea where it's going, because we didn't structure anything. So we came
Right.
up with structures within playing, and then we devised songs that were certainly structured, that we came up with. um but those were some nice surprises.
Yeah.
And other than that, nothing overt and nothing bad. Everything was great. All the energy was really wonderful. Everybody was really happy to be on the project and to contribute. So I'm really honored with that. Um, John McLaughlin is, great. He let me use a track of his called Guitar Love.
All right.
Yeah, which is a great piece. So all of it is really wonderful. Yeah.
Cool. So which song can we be on the lookout for that you would point to as the calling card for the rest of the record?
Oh boy. I don't know. Maybe Coherence, because that's the title. And it's interesting because um Carlos, as I was telling you before, is on Coherence. Coherence is not with my band. Coherence is with Carlos on guitars, of course, and Matt Garrison on bass, and myself. So it's a trio piece.
Okay.
And I had that track, and I wanted Carlos to hear the mix because I wanted to make sure that he was happy with his guitar. And so I said, "Can you listen to this and tell me if you're happy or what changes you want?" And he listened to it and he says, "I love it. It's got to be on my record too." So it came out on his record called
Well,
Sentient. So it's on two records. It's on his record called Sentient. And that was another reason why I did the intro and outro, because I wanted to have a distinction of
a little bit
what
different.
it
Yeah.
was on his record and what it is on my record. The mix is also slightly different. I wanted to do a different mix so that it had a different sound that kind of matched more
Right.
the sound of my record. Um, so we remixed it. And then we added the intro and outro. But that would probably be the calling card, just because of the message of Coherence. So for the whole record, that I would think that would be kind of the calling card.
Cool. This is a random out of left field question that just popped in my mind because I remembered seeing this person, you with this person on your Facebook page. I think it's Facebook or Instagram, one of the two. And it's someone I interviewed, I think about 3 years ago, and that was Mickey Free. What a wonderful human being he is. I love talking with him. He was a lot of fun, and
Yeah,
he lives where I used to live, or he did then in Peoria, Arizona. I grew up in Phoenix, so but what a great guy he is. Good, great guitar player. I love what he stands for,
yeah.
that kind of thing. And so I just had to mention that out of left field there.
Oh,
But
Mickey's awesome. He's a great friend. I love him. Carlos loves him. He has been living here in Las Vegas, actually. He and his wife, they're about to move, I think he said, to Nashville. But Mickey
ah,
Free, in fact, he gave me this. So I'm actually wearing a Mickey Free gift. He
well,
gave
how
me this
cool.
piece, this pendant. Yeah. So we're talking Mickey up. I think
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna run into him today
All right. Wow. Yeah. When I
just because we're
interviewed him,
talking him up.
yeah, that's right. That's what usually happens, isn't it? But when I interviewed him, he had just come out with an album 3 years ago, and we had a lot of fun. In fact, when the interview went out, I forget which organization, but it was a Native American organization. They were giving out some sort of award for his work in music, and they asked me to record a a piece that talking him up that they could play before he was. I don't know if they used it. I never did hear anything more about it. I sent it to the people or had them upload it. But it's just the stories he had and how what all he just the energy that he has, the spirit that he has. It can be contagious. But yeah, he lived in Peoria, Arizona, on the west side, which is as a kid, I worked in a Chinese old grocery store in a migrant community, so it was a lot of fun. But
Oh,
so
awesome.
what's coming up next? Are you going to do a tour just in with a solo band in support of this album, or how's that going to work out for you this year?
I will in the fall. At the moment, well, the very next thing is Monday. We're going to record an EPK for the record, and then right after that, I go to Europe with Santana, and we're going to be there for the entire summer.
Wow.
And we'll have a single that will be released for my record in June, and then the entire record will come out in August.
Okay.
And so in the fall, I'll be doing some touring with my band, and also still some Santana stuff. So I'll be kind of going in between and in and out and mixing and weaving the schedules. But yeah, that'll be fun. So yeah, we'll be doing some stuff in the fall.
Very cool. I'm going to keep an eye on the both of your itineraries to hopefully, if you get in near the Knoxville, Tennessee area, I'm in the Smoky Mountains. And when I say
Beautiful.
near, it could be, oh, I love it here. It's 2 miles up from Dollywood, believe it or not. But there's, when I say near here, it can be Atlanta, it could be over in the Carolinas, Nashville, whatever. But I want to keep an eye on it and hopefully catch another one of your shows and actually get to meet you this time in person. And I'll find the vinyl copies of your records because I'd love for you to sign them because they would they they mean so much to me. And so let's
Oh,
I hope we can make that happen. But
absolutely.
as always, this is a lot of fun, and you're always a delight to talk to. When I saw you had a new album coming out, that's why I reached out to you. I wanted to get ahead of
Thank you.
everybody else on talking it up. So I'll watch for the EPK and the singles coming out and all that, and I'll plug them through my personal and Boomerocity Facebook pages. And let's talk again soon. Okay.
Thank you. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to talking about the band three
Oh yeah,
with
put a quick
Orianthi
plug on that
and
on
Rhonda.
this one, and yeah, to tell people about that real quick, and hopefully we'll have that separate interview going.
Absolutely. I'm also in another project, and the band is called The Band Three, with Orianthi on guitars and vocals, of course. She's a great singer, and Rhonda Smith on bass and vocals too. And this record is being recorded. We just finished recording, and our engineer is the incredible Eddie Kramer. It's
Whoa,
great to
yeah,
yeah, great to work with Eddie. He's awesome. This is kind of certainly Hendrixy influenced, um, rock and blues kind of stuff. It's really cool, good energy, some really great songs. Orianthi's a great singer, so she's got that under control. She's our lead singer, of course. I do a tiny bit of backgrounds, and Rhonda's doing some backgrounds as well. She's the main background singer. But it's really cool. I like the space of the trio because I like trios too because it gives you more space.
hmm
That coupled with Eddie's mixing is really awesome because he's such a great engineer. So this is one to look out for as well. And I don't we haven't chosen the name of the record yet, but that will come. We'll see because we have a couple of really cool songs, and so it'll probably be one of those songs, but we haven't chosen that yet. But that will be out hopefully in the fall. Yeah, hopefully
Okay,
by the fall, and probably a single or two before that.
very cool. I'll ask this if I get the interview, all three of you on it, but I'll ask you ahead of time. Will there be any shows in support of that, if not a whole tour, or what do you think will happen in that regard?
We will absolutely be doing shows and tours. This is
Good
going to
deal.
be. Um, we're looking at long run stuff with this band, so we'll definitely be doing tours. We'll definitely be doing shows, and we've yet to kind of schedule that stuff, because everybody is so busy. We're going to be working
Yeah.
in and out of our stuff. Ori's got her band and her solo band and her things, and Rhonda's is on Kimmel's show and doing those things, and I've got my band and Santana. So, but in between all of that, we'll be popping in shows and some touring as well. So that's something to look forward to. It's very exciting. We've done a couple shows already.
I
Um,
saw the
and
video. It was
yeah.
amazing.
Oh, thank you. We
Yeah.
we've done
Yeah.
we've done a couple shows, and it's really exciting. We're getting a lot of good feedback from the shows too. So yeah, it's
Well,
gonna be fun.
I always think that female bands have a rough go at it, and I try to support as much as I'm allowed to with, the artists participating and all that. But I think that when people such as yourself get out there and kick some major butt, so to speak, in a pleasant way, of course, I think first of all, I think it's tremendous for the three of you, but I think that, don't you think that'll help other female artists as well, both single, solo and bands?
I think it will. It's interesting because I don't do things based off of gender or race or religion or whatever.
Right.
Like when Mark Davis is the brain behind this band coming together because it was his idea, it was his dream. So he asked Orianthi and then he invited me, and then he asked us to you know, choose a bass player. Um, and when I said yes, I said to Mark, I don't play in all female bands normally. It's not, I don't, I don't do that. What I do is I just play with musicians who are great. I don't choose them because they're women or because they're black or white or
Right.
they got afros or dreads or straight hair or buzz cuts or whatever. I just choose people that I want to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said yes to playing with these two musicians, because they're both incredible. You know, it wasn't, and had nothing to do with them being women, actually.
Right. Right.
And if anything, that would have been the deterrent, because I don't like the stereotypes that people put on all anything bands. You know, I don't
Mm-hmm.
like that. Um, but again, I really like their musicianship. So to me, that's what's important. The caveat and the good thing is that yes, it will help people, because I think everybody who has a voice and wants to express it deserves to be heard. And if there are people, if there are women in this case who are oppressed from that, that's not a good thing, and they should be able
Right.
to be heard. So if it can help people, and if it can inspire people, you know, and if it can inspire other women to do what they love and not be stuck in a stereotypical mold, then I'm really elated. So if that's going to help people, and I think it will, then I'm very happy about that. That was not my intention, because to me, music is not based on that. It
Right.
should not be
Agreed.
based on politics. It should not be based on, you know, anything other than expressing the creativity that is God given in all of us, because
Mm-hmm.
we're made from the master creator.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is way above, beyond, and nothing to do with our little divisions that we create down on this teeny
Agreed.
planet amongst ourselves. There's nothing to do. That's just our little stupid stuff, because we're immature, you know,
Yeah.
as people, I mean, as a whole.
Yeah.
Um, and this is kind of, you know, much more long-winded, I think, than what you probably expected
No,
as an
I love
answer.
it.
But but that's the way I feel, you know. So if it's helping people, I'm really elated for that, and I'm happy for that. Um, and again, that was not my intention, but you know, if that's the case, then bravo. I'm
Good
happy.
deal. Well, one other question. I didn't write this down, but it popped in my mind as you were talking is who else would you like to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Oh, there are several. One of my dreams is to and I've played with him a couple of times, but I would like to play with him more extensively, would be Herbie Hancock, because he's
Ah.
so creative. I love his playing. He's my favorite my favorite piano player. Um, I was so nervous when I played with him, because I revere him so much that, you know, I was like, okay, I didn't really play the way I want to play. But hopefully I'll get into more chances, you know. But we had a good time. I played with him at a couple of things. The last one was the um, tribute to for Wayne Shorter,
Mm.
and that was at the Hollywood Bowl. That was really beautiful, lots of fun, and you know, Wayne is one of my heroes too. So it was incredible to be able to be involved in tributing him. Um, you know, of course, it was after his passing, but that was, you know, really amazing to be able to be involved in that. Such an honor. And of course, you can't tribute Wayne Shorter and not have Herbie Hancock on there. So of
Right.
course, you know, it was, he put it together, and Marcus Miller was kind of the music director of the section that I played in, which was the Weather Report section. And I love that music, so you know, it was really great to play some of that. So that's one person that I would really love to do something with. He's yeah,
Very cool.
supreme.
Something tells me we'll be seeing something coming out with at least a song or two, if not a whole album that you two collaborate on. That would be amazing.
It would be. I hope so.
Very cool. Well, Cindy, as always, it's been a blast. My door is always open to you, and I look forward to talking to you about the band 3 if we can get that put together. And in the meantime, you and Carlos, please be safe on this tour coming up, and just have fun and make more memories, okay?
Absolutely. And thank you for this. It's always a joy. You are awesome. Much appreciate what you do and that you support music so highly. This is beautiful.
It's a lot of fun. All right. Well, take care, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Looking forward to it, Randy. You take care too.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.